What is going on, everybody? First, of course, the land acknowledgement. I'm on occupied Tiwa territory, and together, let us continue this fight for Black and Indigenous liberation. As you know it, back in Black, your Chicano, Zachariah Jazz, your host, and this is controversial. So, I have something very super controversial bullshit that I have to share with you today, and I'm very, very frustrated and concerned for our community at large. That concern involves the people, of course, who I always bitch about, the Albuquerque Police Department, the people who are supposed to be protectors and servants of the city of Albuquerque and its people. Here is a video of reporting of a survey put out yesterday by the Albuquerque Police Officers Association. And let's watch.
Now to Albuquerque's crime crisis. We're getting some new insight into how the city's rank-and-file police officers feel about their jobs fighting crime and the city leaders. Today, the union representing Albuquerque police officers released results from its annual survey. Kai Porter is live downtown. And Kai, it sounds like many police officers here have a problem with their bosses.
Yeah, Ryan, at least according to this new survey, it also shows that morale in the department is not good. A lot of officers feel like city leaders don't support them, and some officers are even thinking about finding a new job. Today, we also reached out and got reaction from city leaders. 421 officers took part in the Albuquerque Police Officers Association's annual survey, and the association's president, Sean Willoughby, says many officers feel like their hands are tied by the Department of Justice settlement agreement.
This department's not worried about crime. This department's worried about compliance and DOJ reforms, and it's really hard. I mean, all these politicians will tell you, we've got to do both simultaneously. Not a realistic expectation.
According to the survey, 98% of the officers who took part don't feel supported by Mayor Tim Keller and his administration, and 95% don't feel supported by Chief Harold Medina or City Council.
They do not feel like they have a recipe for success. 85% of them are looking for other jobs in a year where 137 police officers have already left, followed by a year where 81 police officers left last year. I mean, we have a natural attrition rate of this police department dating back over 20 years of 60. So they've got a serious problem on their hands. And I think it starts with treating your employees with a little more respect.
City Council President Cynthia Borrego says she was surprised the officers surveyed don't feel supported.
We always let them know that we support them 150%. So it's alarming to me to see those results of what was in that survey.
Borrego says City Council has increased APD's budget by 30% over recent years and increased officers' pay by more than 17%. Borrego says she plans to meet with the police union about the survey.
So I think that, I'm eager to meet with them as the City Council president and just move forward and let rank and file know that we are very supportive of them. And if there are things that the council is not doing, I would like to know what they are.
A spokesperson for APD responded with a statement saying, in part, we have
If there are things that the council is not doing, I would like to know what they are.
A spokesperson for APD responded with a statement saying, in part, we have acknowledged and been upfront about the fact that officers are not happy with the DOJ settlement agreement and the focus on discipline. At the same time, the court-appointed monitors are coming out with a new report that once again criticizes the department for not doing enough to discipline officers. The fact is, we are working with the DOJ and the congressional delegation to push back against unreasonable demands from the monitoring team while working toward compliance and lasting reform. And Mayor Tim Keller's office also responded to this survey with a statement today. We want to put it up on your screen there. It says, quote, although this is a self-selecting survey that has reflected similar opinions over multiple administrations, it underscores what we know is a very difficult time to be in law enforcement. The administration continues its strong support for officers and has made some of the largest investments in recent history. In spite of the pandemic, Mayor Keller has backed up officers with needed pay raises, hiring, and critical technology upgrades, end quote. And if you'd like to see this full survey for yourself and also read some of the comments from officers explaining their answers, we posted it on this story on our website.
So, I have gone over a good portion of this survey, and a lot of these answers don't even seem legitimate, if you ask me. They really don't. They seem fabricated. They seem like somebody was just filling it in. Because a lot of them are the same fucking answers, worded differently. It doesn't make any sense. And if this is real, if these answers are real, then we have a problem. Because these are answers. Well, 421 police officers in the Albuquerque Police Department participated in this survey from the Albuquerque Police Officers Association. We have 900 police officers in APD. It's 421, that is almost half of the police department. A police department who thinks like this. I'm going to go over some of these answers with you, just very briefly. I'm not going to go cover them all because there is a lot. They asked 3 questions, or 3 or 4 questions that the cops had written responses to. These alleged cops have written responses to. Now, this entire Crime Matters More campaign is just a PR campaign. That's it. It's all propaganda put forth to support who I believe is Eddie Aragon, the hardest on crime candidate, the all for cops candidate who wants the DOJ the fuck out of here. Right? He says it. He even says the police are handcuffed. So let's start with this. Here's one that I found that is that is the exact same answer twice, right at the beginning. Let's see. There it is. Right there within the first 11 questions. Back, like, there's number 6. Yeah, number 6 and number 11 of the first written response question is the same answer. The exact same answer. How is this shit not fabricated? Every other answer in this, just to this first written question, every other single one is the same, just slightly worded different. It's lazy, and it's fake propagandized bullshit. It's dangerous. And if we don't start making some fucking noise about this shit, we're gonna have a problem. Let's go over this. Let's see. More pay, better leadership, increased support for officers. I'll tell them they need to focus on staffing, more support from the department. A lot of these are talking about no vaccine mandates. Look, I am not anti-vax. I am anti-mandate, but there are certain positions, especially in with people who work directly with the public. That's a different circumstance. Now, employers that don't employ with the city, right? In any form of city, state, federal government, I don't believe that they should be having vaccine mandates. If their employees want to just wear a mask indoors, whatever, social distance, fine, cool, whatever. I don't think they should have vaccine mandates. But if you're a city, state, or federal employee or caregiver, provider, you know, in like hospitals or whatever, definitely vaccine mandate, because you serve the fucking public. You're a government employed person. You should be vaccinated. Soldiers go through all kinds of different shit. Polio, fucking, like, I had somebody who I play Xbox Live with tell me this fucking crazy story of the vaccine, or of some vaccine mandate that he had to get, where he couldn't even be next to his wife for like 48 hours. Literally had to sit in a fucking bubble and away from his family because this vaccine, he could potentially get them sick. Oh my god, this shit is ridiculous. Feeling supported enough to do my job without fear of being disciplined for minuscule things, having the numbers to have a functional department that isn't scraping by on day-to-day basis. These things are insane. Leadership that has their employees' backs, no vaccine mandates. Good leadership consistency, revamp this awful discipline, use of force policy changes, discipline policy changes, raise retention benefits, more money, a large loyalty bonus, new leadership or more money, less crime DOJ leaves, less discipline for minor SOP, less restrictive policy and discipline. Holy shit, man. This stuff is so concerning. Respect, appreciation, leadership change, pay increase. New leadership that would stand up to the Department of Justice. Reform of restrictive policies, better incentives. Pay raise would make me stay. Money. Different mayor administration, pay raise, more support for department and city officials. Change your leadership and DOJ be gone. Crap ton of more money. Real leadership, fair discipline, more money. Pay raise. A new fifth floor that is mentioned at least several hundred times. Remove the culture of the shit chain we have and getting a mayor that cares about improving the city. Better pay, more officers, better pay, better leadership. DOJ gone. Leadership, plain and simple. DOJ gone. Morale boost, no vaccine mandate. Too close to retirement, that's when I see often. More money. Change your leadership and policy. Change your policy and disciplinary policy. Higher pay, policy change, change your leadership. No forced backs. Reduced reform efforts, different leaders. No DOJ and a new mayor. Oh my god. I mean, it's just too much to go over. I mean, my brain is fucking hurting from this shit. Albuquerque Police Department. They an audit was just done on them, and the amount of overtime they receive is insane. It's insane. And I have an article, for the same article that I shared, that I spoke on yesterday, from Austin Fisher with the Source New Mexico. He mentions the budget that police officers got. Under the Keller administration, the Albuquerque Police Department's annual budget went up to $226.8 million this fiscal year from the $184.4 million in the previous fiscal year, according to city records. That includes an additional $31.8 million in money from the Federal CARES Act. Keller said in an interview that now is not the time to reduce the APD budget. He said his administration started with a department that wasn't adequately staffed for just basic public safety. He said his administration added officers, which resulted in a larger homicide unit by cost domestic violence programs and a violence intervention program and diversion programs. look, we there's no underpayment of police officers, right? And I feel like this whole bullshit, all this bullshit with police unions and officers, the officers quitting because of vaccine mandates, you know, these APD cops going on about vaccine mandates and shit, and, wanting to get rid of the DOJ and reforms and all of that shit. I feel like all of that has a lot to do with, the workers' strike that's going on right now. IATSE, Kellogg, all that shit. And there's an insane amount of inflation right now because of the supply chain that's being held up on the West Coast, most notably, right? Now, and it's been known for years that, the working class has been underpaid for a long time. We are paid poverty wages. Not even know we have to kill ourselves every day at a job to not even be able to live life comfortably or be able to do the things that we want to do, and employers aren't looking out for the livelihood and well-being of their employees. That's why they're negotiating a lot of these contracts. IATSE is one that captures my attention the most because I have a friend that works in the movie industry, and he was one of the people that went on strike with IATSE. They had to go in and renegotiate their contract because of the corporations not looking out for not working in their best interests, reducing their benefits, reducing their pay. So they went on strike saying, no, fuck that. You're gonna give us what we're asking for. You're gonna renegotiate. You're gonna go back to the table. You're gonna sign it, and we'll go back to work, or else everything comes to a halt. That's what it is, and these people are sacrificing, making that sacrifice of a job, of financial security, for these good contracts, for these corporations to look out for them. They are sacrificing their livelihood for it. That is brave and honorable and should be respected in every which way. Now, these police officers, police departments all over the country, as a whole, are more funded than entire militaries in other countries. They have a higher budget than other military programs do in different countries. That is insane. Every year, they have a insane amount of overtime, unregulated, paid time off. And so they shouldn't be complaining about shit. It's just that they don't want reform because they want to be violent and not and have it not be caught on camera and not have to worry about the qualified immunity in the House Bill 4, specifically here in Albuquerque. It was just passed recently, and even in one of these written questions, so an officer goes on to talk about, he says, and undo the House bill that implements or that removes qualified immunity, because they want to be violent. They want to beat the shit out of people. Albuquerque Police Department has a culture of violence. It's true. And if these are real answers on this survey, what is IMR 14 going to look like? I'm scared to find out. Because we also know that Harold Medina, I like Harry, that's what I call him, has been doing these downtown crime initiatives, right? He's had four of them this year alone. How many people got brutalized during those crime operations? How many people whose stories we haven't heard? And officers that aren't getting in trouble for it. These cops and this whole APOA propaganda bullshit, they talk about not being afraid of using force and getting in trouble for it. They're afraid of getting in trouble for the little bullshit things and then getting like a little slap on the wrist for it. It's all for show. That little slap on the wrist. Because they don't care about the bigger problems, right? That the bigger problem is that me and you would get fucking lynched for. And just to add one little thing, these are the most illiterate cops that I have ever fucking seen. Completely illiterate. If you read the fucking survey, you will see what I'm talking about. Like, it's like all of them are just writing on social media or something. Like they are dumb. You know the instead of saying our is spelling it OUR. They say R, ARE. Like, who wants these illiterate dumbasses on the police department? Uneducated. That is not to insult anybody who's lacking in education or is in fact illiterate, because it is known that we have the worst, some of the worst public education in the country. But a cop, I wonder what his paperwork looks like. These people should have a level of competence, right? But they don't. They don't. They're dumbasses that just want to beat people and hurt people. That's it. They're meatheads and bullies, and they want to be violent. It's right there. And I want to talk about pandering for a second. Eddie Aragon loves to highlight, with his art, despite of his 4.6% blackness, this racial pandering. But we're supposed to pander to these so-called police, these would-be police, allegedly, supposed, whatever. That is all that's happening right now. The media is highlighting crime at an exponential rate. It is highlighting homelessness and tying the two in together at an unprecedented rate during this election year. Because of the defund movement, we now have to deal with this shit. And not to say that the defund movement wasn't a good thing. It was, but these are the consequences of that. Now this hyper pro cop agenda resulted from it. And we have to deal with it. We're now in a worse position than we were in before, I feel. This isn't good. And we need to come together. You need to get behind my campaign. Let's fucking hit the streets. Let's make some noise right now. Because whoever is coming in, whether it be the incumbent, whether it be Manny or Erdogan, if it's Erdogan, we have a problem. If it's Manny, we have a problem too. But Erdogan's a big one. I'm not going to vote for any one of them. I personally am not. But whoever it is, at the end of all of this, we need to hit the streets and we need to get loud. damn anybody that tries to stop us. I am fucking serious. This isn't good. 421 police officers who would rather beat the shit out of us than be a good cop. We need to protect each other. We need to protect us. We need to heal our community. We need to bring awareness to this shit. Because it's not safe out here. Not with them police. So, let's do what we can. Keep your eyes open. Protect each other. I love y'all. And, woohoo.